And Neil, firstly, can I offer you the chance to pay tribute to Billy McNeill?
Yeah, I mean, we're a club in mourning. First of all, on behalf of the players and the staff here, we obviously our thoughts go out to Liz and the family. Liz was just a rock for Billy over his whole life, really, but the family gave him tremendous comfort, love, care, you know, in his through a debilitating illness. So first of all, our thoughts are with the family. When I got the news on Tuesday morning, I was in Paris in a hotel, and got this overwhelming feeling of nostalgia and emotion, because Billy McNeill was Celtic. He was an icon, a hero. I mean, I was growing up, you know, I'd hear the stories, you know, of the Lisbon Lions, and they are without doubt the greatest team in the club's history. And he was their leader. He was our leader, you know, as a player and as a manager. On a personal level, when I first got the job, he was a tremendous support to me. And not only during the good times, but more importantly during tough times. He would come in and see me after games and give me a lot of advice, good advice on what I was doing right, and at times on what I was doing wrong. And you know, I couldn't thank him enough for that. So my image of Billy will always be stood up on that podium in Lisbon, surrounded by, you know, black and white figures in suits and hats, and this Adonis in a green and white shirt with white shorts holding up the cup. That's my abiding memory of him. I saw Charlie, you know, in tears on the TV the other day, and I had a cry myself. I don't think Billy realised how much he meant to so many people associated with the club, so many great players, managers, superstars. He was the one. We have lost him, and it's a huge loss for our club.
How key is it then that you make sure you commemorate Billy this weekend and up until the end of the season?
Well, we would do that anyway, regardless of the timing. You know, we want to obviously win the league, but you know, with this in the background now, it's even adds more significance to the game, and I think the players will be, you know, highly motivated on two fronts now to, you know, put on a show, and I'm sure the support will come out and give Billy the tribute that he deserves. I mean, he is Celtic. You know, we have lost I've seen all the superlatives, all the words. He's just an icon, and he's immortal, really. He's passed on to the other side, but for me, he's still here. He'll always be here.
If you don't mind me asking, when you said that he used to give you advice about where you were going right and wrong, how did those conversations go? How robust were they when it was somebody like Billy McNeill?
No, they weren't robust at all. He was, you know, far from it. He wasn't in telling me off, but he was in giving me advice. He didn't need to do it, but he had been through it himself as a player and a manager, and it was great advice. You know, I loved it, and it was a privilege being around his company at times. And one of my great moments in my career here is winning the double against Hibs at Hampden, and joining that band of a couple of people. Billy was one of them, to have won a double as a player and as a manager, and no amount of money or financial remuneration could ever replace that feeling of being in a group with him.
Well, they actually said at one point that Celtic had a penchant for the fairy tale moment. He cited 67, he cited 79 beating Rangers. In the late game he cited the double. He seems to have been associated irrevocably with these fairy tale moments.
Yeah, I think that just comes with greatness. He made things happen, you know, and he was the leader of a great team, a leader of great men. And you've seen already what, you know, John and Bertie have spoken of him, and how high esteem he was held. Sir Alex, you know, Kenny Dalglish, the greats. That's where Billy is, you know, amongst that pantheon of Scottish footballers, one of the, if not the greatest. And not only his playing and his managing, but the aura he had around the club, the influence he had on people, from generation to generation, and it'll go on. It'll go on. Hopefully one day this club wins the European Cup again, you know, but for now, you know, he was the best of the best.
Some fans saying that a good tribute would be to retire the number 5 jersey. What would your thoughts be on?
Why not? There's only one, and only ever will be one Billy McNeill for me. So I think that's not a bad idea at all. And hang it up there so everyone can see it for years on end.
fitting tribute that the players will have to number 5 on their shorts at the cup final as well?
I think that's appropriate. I can't put into words how big a loss he is to this club. I've been on this earth 47 years, and one of the first people you think about when it comes to Celtic is Billy McNeill.
Does it sort of become yourself and the players' responsibility to look at this treble and see that as a fitting enough tribute to the memory of one of the greats?
Like, we've a job to do anyway, regardless of what's happened this past week. So our whole focus will be on, and it has been our focus probably since the start of the season, is to maintain the standards that the players have set over the last 2.5 years, and they're doing that very, very well.
You're probably going over some of the conversations that you had with Billy maybe in your mind. Is there any little nugget that you particularly think, I'll keep that, I'll take that with me?
I used to enjoy him coming in after we'd beaten Rangers. The first thing you'd see was the big grin on his face, and he'd give you a big bear hug. So he was as pleased. He was as pleased himself as he was for me, and as pleased as I was. So just little things like that, where there was that little office at Celtic Park, and when everyone left, he would pop his head in and give me 5 minutes of his time, and I always cherish that.
He seems to have brought together both sides of the city as well. Does that show the mark of?
Yeah. Some players do bridge the gap, and there've been some outstanding tributes from Rangers as well. And again, we're very grateful for that.
If we move on to footballing matters on Saturday, results on Sunday meant you couldn't win the league, but I suppose it's keeping up that momentum. So when the time does come, you're there at the finish.
We just got to take it game by game. Obviously, we're disappointed with the result last week. Some aspects of the performance could have been better, but we had 20 attempts on goal, 4 on target, so we know our finishing could have been better. I think our form's okay. People are making a big deal of it. It's exactly the same as it was this time last year. We drew 0-0 at home to Dundee, won at Hamilton 2-1, won the semi-final, then lost to Hibs. In fact, our form's better, but everyone seems to be making a huge issue of it. I'm just looking for consistency and standards to be maintained from here on in to the cup final, and I know the players are well capable of that. So we're unbeaten since January. We've conceded 3 goals, yet and all there's this sort of wave of criticism aimed at myself and the players, which I think is well over the top.
I'm sure you and the players would rather, when you win this title, you do it when you're playing rather than when somebody else drops one.
Don't matter, just win it. It's as sweet as any time. Obviously when you're playing it's great and you get over the line. We can't affect that. We can't affect all the results, so we can only affect what we do. Staying very calm on it. And we've had a chat this week, and the players are motivated and ready to go again.
Do you know what's happened with Keane?
He's seen a specialist today, so we'll know maybe later on this evening what the prognosis is.
Has he improved at all, do you feel, in the last few days?
Well, he's not trained, so he'd be a doubt for Saturday.
What about Kilmarnock? I think Rory McKenzie is available, Kirk Rothwood's out. What do you expect from them?
Yeah, Steve's shrewd, a good side. He's had a great couple of seasons under Steve. Streetwise, smart, got some really good players who can hurt you, and they're well organised, and they can play some really good football at times as well. First half of the season, they're outstanding, and they've had some good results against us, recently. So I just expect another very tough game.
And it's going to be such an emotional day at the stadium. How do you try and? Do the players have to play off that, or do you have to?
Feed off it.
Yeah.
Feed off the emotion, and use that as an extra tool for you. It'll be emotional, but I think the fans will give Billy a huge tribute, and the players need to buy into that, feed off it, thrive on it, enjoy it, and celebrate Billy's life and his career.
How's Lee Griffiths now? How close do you think he is?
He's having some fitness tests today, so funny you should mention it's today, so we'll have a fair idea of how far away he is after today's results.
Do you think that there is a possible chance he could feature before the end of the season?
He's got a bit of work to do still, but hopefully, yeah. Hopefully. Which should be a bonus, because we've missed his goals, there's no question of that.
What have you said to him in terms of, for the long term, in terms of keeping him on the right path and keep getting him back playing?
Well, we've had a lot of private conversations with him. The club have done all they can to help him with obviously off the field difficulties, so he needs to get some calmness in his life, and stability, and then the football can take care of itself. You know, because if you've got carnage going on and off the field, you know it's going to affect you on the field eventually and catch up with you. And he knows that. There's realisation there, and he's working very, very hard behind the scenes, which is great.
Scott Brown's here tomorrow. You've spoken to the player, and you're not, like, I know you spoke about before, but you're not expecting any surprise decisions from.
Well, I would be surprised if he got a ban. Let me put it that way. You know, and you know, I wouldn't say confident, but we're hopeful that, you know, he'd be available for Saturday.
Neil, Karamoko Dembele appears to have chosen England over Scotland. Is that something you spoke to the club about?
I don't know if he's spoken to anyone at the club about it, but I've not spoken to him about it. I'm trying to get him to play for Ireland, actually. He's also got, you know, I think he can play for the Ivory Coast as well. So at 16, you know, at the minute he's got a few options, but he was away playing for England, as you know. But I've not really sat down and had any conversation with him about it. I think he's too young for all that for me to sit down and go, look, you should play for here, you should play there. It's not my place. As long as he's playing for Celtic and playing well, then I'll be happy with that.
And how close is he to playing for Celtic, to the first team?
Well, if all things go well, you may see him around before the end of the season. I'm a big fan of his. I like his style. You know, I would like to get him integrated around the first team squad sooner rather than later, but he's still got a bit of work to do, obviously.
Okay, and last one, Virgil van Dijk is set to be named PFA Player of the Season. Will that put a smile on your face knowing that you brought him here?
Yeah, I was very proud of him. Very proud of what he's gone on to do. Very proud of what he did here. Outstanding, world-class footballer. And, you know, I'm sure you can make comparisons with him and Billy McNeill if you want. You know, two outstanding Celtic centre-halves.